Okay, now, before a bee goes to sting someone, it must first go and get its strength from the beehive. Before a bee goes to sting someone, it must first get its strength from the beehive. And he who has never tasted what is bitter will never appreciate that which is sweet. If you have never tasted what is bitter, you can never appreciate what is sweet. We got this wise sayings from our friend in Essen, Germany, Marcel Adzik. Marcel, good morning, and thanks so much for these proverbs. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 52nd edition of African Cocktail, coming to you from Africa Radio. Okay, good afternoon to you listening to us in Douala, Cameroon. Douala is the economic capital of that great Central African country that celebrated its National Day yesterday, May the 20th, 2014. And to you listening to us in Lilongwe, Malawi, we say good afternoon. What about you listening to us in Ebolova, that is the south region of Cameroon? We say good afternoon. Then good afternoon to you listening to us from Brazzaville. Brazzaville is in Congo. And to you listening to us in Detroit, USA, we want to say good morning. And good morning to you listening to us from Kentucky here in the USA. And to you listening to us from Jamina, Chad, we say good afternoon. Then to you listening to us in Johannesburg, South Africa, good afternoon to you. Then what about you listening to us from Dayton, that is here in the United States of America, precisely in the state of Ohio, we say good morning. And to you listening to us in Alexandria, Egypt, we say good afternoon. Then good afternoon to you listening to us in Juba, South Sudan. And to you in Italy, we say bonjour. What about you listening to us in Paris, France? We say bon après-midi. And to you listening to us in Berlin, Germany, we say guten Tag. Then to you in Dodoma, Tanzania, we say good afternoon. Then good afternoon to you listening to us in Lusaka, that is in Zambia. And to you in Malabo, Equatorial Guinea, we say good afternoon. Good afternoon to you listening to us in Babane, Swaziland. We say good afternoon to you listening to us in Kumasi, Ghana. And to you in Sao Tome and Principe, Civil Z Akorogo and Cote d'Ivoire with the bon après-midi. And to you listening to us from Beijing, China, we say good evening. What about you listening to us from Mombasa in Kenya? We say good afternoon. Civil Z Harare, Zimbabwe, on with the bon après-midi. And to you in San Francisco in California, we say good morning. Then good morning to you listening to us from St. Petersburg in Russia. And to you in Melbourne, Australia, we say greetings to you. What about you listening to us in Niamey, Niger? We say good afternoon. And to you listening to us in the city of Columbus, we say good morning. And whenever you get this voice at this hour on Wednesday, know that you are listening to African Cocktail. Welcome to the 20th edition of your darling show, which is of course the 52nd since we started the show in May last year. Just like we say all the time, African Cocktail is that party on radio that brings you all the niceties of the beautiful African continent. So, how much of Africa do you know? How much of Africa do you wear? How much of Africa do you eat? How much of African entertainment news do you get to savor? And most important, how much of African music do you dance to or listen to? These are the kind of questions we do well to answer on African Cocktail. African Cocktail is a mixture of the best African values you can ever think of. And in this 52nd edition of the show, we take a look at the people who make the Nigerian film industry tick. And the world's second biggest film platform, Nollywood, is what it is today, thanks to some Nigerians who have gone through thick and thin just to give the industry the great reputation it now enjoys. One of them is USA-based Ngozi Ibe, producer of The Brat, a movie recently premiered for the second time in Dallas, Texas. Ngozi, who also directs, displays other artistic skills, including acting and, of course, singing. Her acting career, movies, singing venture, and other things are what she will be telling us in this edition of African Cocktail. Ngozi Ibe is our main guest in this edition of the show, and she will be talking from Houston, Texas. And so, who will emerge victorious in their category? In their category at the 2014 edition of the Nollywood and African Film Critics Awards NAFCA. The race to pick out the laureates has just begun with the list of nominations made public late last week. Newsmakers have commented that NAFCA 2014 has the highest number of Cameroonian nominees since the award started some 4 years ago. Now, African Cocktail begins a series of reports and interviews on NAFCA, with nominees given the opportunity to run their campaigns. In this edition of the show, we receive NAFCA nominee Nina Dari's director, Victor VU. Victor will also be throwing more light on two other awards recently, and he will be talking from his Los Angeles base. He will also be telling us about his recent trip to New York, where Nina's diary was created. That will happen in this edition of African Cocktail. Don't just go away. Okay, too much work without play makes the African diaspora weary. But do Africans in the diaspora really want to get drowned in work without carving out some little time to relax? No is certainly the answer. One of the African communities that have opted for moments of communing and relaxation is the Guineans in Ohio. This weekend, sons and daughters of that great West African country will converge on the city of Columbus to either display their football skills or cheer up players, respectively, in a Guinean tournament that is expected to pull a massive crowd. The motivation for this, the state of preparedness, and what lies ahead are what representatives of the Guinean community will be telling us just right ahead in this edition of African Cocktail. Two of them will be here live in the studio of Africa Radio just right ahead in this edition of the show. Our regular slots, the Belgium report from Titus Banyon and Solomon Atta's South Connect will be yours in this edition of African Cocktail. Meantime, I will definitely not be alone in this sumptuous studio of Africa Radio, situated at Morse Road 1110. Okay, I'm expecting two people here in the studio. They will definitely join me just right ahead. But then, my main guest, like I said earlier on, is Ngozi Ibe. Just right ahead, we shall find out if she's already with us in this edition of the show. Don't go away. Okay, like I said, our main guest in this edition of African Cocktail is Ngozi Ibe. She has another name which I really can't pronounce. She's definitely going to teach me how to pronounce it. But let's go to Houston, Texas at exactly 15 minutes to 11 to find out if our main guest is with us this morning. Ngozi, good morning and welcome to African Cocktail.
Good morning, Ernest.
How are you today?
I am fine.
And how is Houston this morning?
Houston is good. We have a good weather. It's nice. It's nice out here. How are you?
I'm all right, thanks. We also thank God because it is thanks to Him that we can get up every morning and be able to do what we do.
Yes.
Now, all along I've been pronouncing just two of your names, Ngozi Ibe. You have a third name which begins with a D, then a T and Y. It really is difficult for me to pronounce. Can you help me with it?
Okay, the name is called Dytmi.
Say that again.
Dytmi.
Dytmi. Now, is that your name or artistic name?
It is actually I have an Igbo name that is translated to be the time, which is Oge.
Wow.
Oge means time, like Oge, she got time.
That is interesting.
So
that's a perfect revelation. But now, you will have to give me the permission to use just Ngozi in this edition of the show. Am I permitted?
That's okay.
Okay. I love the name. Ngozi sounds really, really Igbo. Am I right?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Okay, so thank you so much. You are the main guest in this edition of African Cocktail. You are a filmmaker, you are a singer, you direct films, lots and lots of things we are going to discover about you in this edition of the show. So thank you so much. Just stay with us. You and I will be running the show. I'll be doing it here in Columbus. You will be running it from the other end. That is in Houston. So I'll get back to you just right ahead.
Okay.
Okay, her name is Ngozi Ibe, and she's the main guest in this edition of African Cocktail. Mine is Ernest Kanjo, regular host of the show, asking you to sit back, relax, and of course enjoy every bit of what we shall be presenting to you this Wednesday morning in the city of Columbus, and of course from Africa Radio. 614-987-5097 are the numbers to press your fingers on anytime you feel taking part in this edition of African Cocktail. Just right ahead, we shall be getting lots and lots of people talking to us in this edition of the show. But then, traditionally, we begin African Cocktail with words of prayer, because we need to thank God for making it happen. He does that all the time, and it's also our responsibility to say thank you, Lord, each time He does it. And so wherever you are listening to us around the globe, just bow down your head for a moment. Let's thank God. And we are going to do it as usual with some good music. Today we have Elizabeth Deke in that one titled If I Be No Go Be on That Day. Okay, let's go.
them like when you tell them say give your life for Jesus, he go tell you say Jesus not for the poor. So what time you want to say me the trouble? You get accident, die at the spot. Tell me when Jesus go come, now when he go be cry. Oh, if I be no go be on that day. I tell you, if I be no go be on that day. Now so some people go cry when Jesus go come.
If I be no go be on that day. If I be no go be on that day. Now so some people go cry when Jesus go come.
You go see some Christians for church. They be go church, but they never live in Wapalava. I say Christian for church, you still enter mercy house. For take protection, for take mercy, Kimane. Christian for church, you still hold people for hand. Christian for church, they drink him go drunk. Christian for church, they smoke cigar. Christian for church, they come out with this kind of thing. Then you still go chop communion. If Jesus come where you never change, you go cry if I be no. If I be no go be on that.
Father, in the name of your Son Jesus Christ, we want to praise your name. Most High God, you are the creator of everything, even the ones we think we have created. Father, you are the master, the voice, the great mind, the initiator, and the pilot of this show. We are only humans, Lord, created in your image and assigned to do it in honor of your name and greatness. Father, make this show an avenue for good and positive things. If it can provide the answer to somebody's question, Lord, let it be. If this show can propel someone to the reality of their dreams, Father, let it happen. We only pray for the energy, wisdom, and breath to be able to continue doing it. Thanks for your endless goodness and grace. Bless everybody listening today in the mighty name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
You go better for me. Die hard for this Christian race. Die hard for this Christian race. I say let we die hard for this Christian race. If we die we hard, you go better for me.
Die hard for this Christian race. Die hard for this Christian race. Die hard for this Christian race. If you die we hard, you go better for me.
For this Christian race, temptation go come. Make you not bring temptation put you down. I say make you not bring, make one go put you down. Continue for die hard, you go better for you.
Die hard for this Christian race. Die hard for this Christian race. Die hard for this Christian race. If you die we hard, you go better for me.
Sometimes go come for your life where people go hate you. And they go talk against you, they no go like for see you. And when those moments come, make you not shame. No quarrel with them. Show them love, oh, care for them, and pray for them. When God is with them, they go be with best friend. Sometimes go come for your life where they go accuse you. See when you not do, they go talk say you do and if you do good, they go turn out for be bad. They go only tie your heart, oh, it go better for me.
Tie your heart, it go better for we. That one is titled If I Be No Go Be on That Day, and is by Cameroonian Elizabeth Teke. Beautiful gospel piece there coming to you from Africa Radio. And of course, the show is African Cocktail, the 52nd edition, coming to you this day, Wednesday, May the 21st, 2014. And of course, we're welcoming all of you who are just joining us in this edition of the show. It's definitely going to be another fantastic one because we have fantastic people who will be making their appearances in this edition of the show. We shall be listening to Missy BK. Missy BK is a contemporary music artist based in Montreal, Canada, and she will be telling us about a concert she will be having this weekend with the legendary Frederic Mewe of Ivory Coast. Then we shall move to Maryland, not Cincinnati, perhaps, because she must have traveled to Maryland already. I'm talking about gospel artist Pandit Kanjo, who will be having another concert in Maryland this weekend. She will be telling us about that great event that is coming up. Then we shall also listen to big-time Cameroonian filmmaker Victor Viu. Victor is based in Los Angeles, and he is the director-producer of Nina's Diary, award-winning Nina's Diary. I must say that Nina's Diary has grabbed more than 30 awards. More than 30 awards. So, its director will be talking to us in this edition of the show. Definitely, Victor will be telling us about his trip to New York 2 weeks ago. And of course, his nomination, he's just been nominated for the Best Director category at the Nollywood and African Film Critics Awards, NAFCA. Then, we shall also be listening to the president of the Actors Guild of Cameroon, USA. His name is Matt Atungong. But then, our main guest is Dtymi Ngozi Ibe. She'll be speaking to us from Houston, Texas. So, for those of you who will want to participate in this edition of African Cocktail, just press your fingers on 614-987-5097 and you'll be live on the show. Meantime, we have Titus Bagnon, our Belgium correspondent, who will be filing in his weekly report. And of course, Solomon Atta of South Connects, who will be speaking from either Johannesburg or Cape Town in South Africa. I want to say good morning to you, JJ Som. JJ Som will be joining African Cocktail soon. She is our Cameroon correspondent. She will definitely be corresponding on this show from the economic capital of Cameroon, that is in Douala. And so if she's listening to the show at this moment, I just want to say you are welcome on board. We hopefully will have you in next week's edition of African Cocktail. Okay, so let's begin with music as usual. Then we will be right back with you.
La vida se come metro, molo, molo. Dia moka, mobalia ezali fasini. Kasinyosa, nyoko salai. Itali, na kokuta da ko, na kosoba nyoko ya kolera o. Momatisi, na pharmacie. Tu ne peux même pas faire économie, tu ne peux pas faire économie. Économie n'a que les habiter. Économie.
Hey, beautiful pieces of makossa done in the yesteryears are now brought together in this one titled Le Testament du Makossa. Beautiful package, and this is a collection of makossa pieces done by some young Cameroonian artists who still hold Cameroonian music, and of course makossa so strong at heart. It's coming to you from Africa Radio, and of course the show is African Cocktail with Ernest Kanjo this day, May the 21st, 2014. Don't just go away, because there are lots and lots of interesting items coming up in this edition of the show. Quelle beauté de la musique camerounaise. Makossa, Le Testament du Makossa is coming to you from Africa Radio, and of course the show is African Cocktail. I want to say good morning to all my friends listening to me from Douala, Cameroon, and of course the political capital of that country. I'm talking about Yaoundé. Then, and to my friends listening to me from Ibadan, I want to say good morning. Oh, is it good afternoon out there? Okay, good afternoon out there. We have lots and lots of listeners in that great African nation. I'm talking about Nigeria. And of course, we're receiving a Nigerian in this edition of African Cocktail as main guest. Her name, Ngozi Ibe. Ngozi Ibe is based in Houston, Texas. She is a filmmaker par excellence. She is an actress. She also ventures into singing, and she does it so well. Then she also stands behind the camera and calls the shots. Multi-talented, quite multidisciplinary, and that's the kind of person we are receiving in this edition of African Cocktail. So we are quite privileged, and at exactly 5 minutes past 11, let's move over to Houston, Texas, and start our conversation with our main guest in this edition of African Cocktail. Once again, Ngozi Ibe, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Okay, my listeners will definitely want to know you beyond just being a filmmaker, a director, a singer, and what have you. So, could you just tell us about your family background?
Sure. Like I said before, my name is Dytmi Ngozi Ibe, and Dytmi is from the name Ogechi. I'm from the eastern part of Nigeria, actually Imo State.
Right.
And I'm from a middle-class family. I grew up in Lagos and Ghana. And I've traveled a lot during my teenage age. We used to travel a lot. So I've been in almost most of the African countries.
Right.
And I grew up like every other kid from a middle-class family. I'm the sixth of 10. We are 10. My mother got 10 kids.
Wow, that's beautiful.
So I am number 6.
And so, how was life when you were growing up as a little girl? And do you have some moments which you always want to recall, which you think kind of, marked your life?
Okay, yes. Every little child has one or two things that they don't forget. Like I said, I grew up in a middle class family. I grew up in a home that fear God.
Right.
Yes, and there's this thing my mother used to tell me. It said, until you know you're beautiful, don't let anybody tell you you're beautiful if you think you're not beautiful. So it's one thing that I've carried along. It's not what people think about me. It's what I think about me and how I feel about me that gives me the strength to go on. So it's something that remains in me. My mother said, you should know that you are beautiful from your inside, not what people tell you. So I carry that on with me, and I don't forget that.
Now, you just said you've traveled widely, and apparently you've also been in the United States of America for quite some time. Has this kind of extracted some of the Igbo-ness in you? To put it this other way, do you still speak refined Igbo? Because when I listen to you don't sound African.
I do speak Igbo very well. It's something I can just let go. No matter where I go to, I still speak my dialect. I talk to my mother in Igbo.
Right. That's interesting. Now, let us know a little bit about your education.
Okay, I went to primary and high school in Lagos.
Right.
Went to Ghana. I went to a college of education in Ghana. I came to America. I went to University of Connecticut where I did psychology. I have a degree in psychology. And right now I'm doing computer administration.
Right.
Or business, computer business.
Psychology. Why psychology?
I'm right from, when I was a little girl, I used to think about how things came into being. I want to know about human. I want to know how we reason. Sometimes I want to know how God thinks.
Right.
So I decided to study human beings, study the psyche, what goes on with human, because we have a lot of people with different psyche or access in their thinking. So I tried to study to know more instead of asking too much questions.
So, has that kind of influence your life, your career? Does it mean that you see people differently from how I, who hasn't studied psychology yet, would see them?
Yes, that it has helped me a lot, because before now my thinking faculty was different.
Right.
But right now I can handle things differently because I study human. So it has helped me even in my career, dealing with people from different cultures, people from different backgrounds. You can be able to relate with them without having problems, because in most cases we have cultural effect in people. You meet people from different culture. There are things you do in your culture or in your country that is acceptable, that is not acceptable to others. And you might be doing it not knowing that you are offending these people.
Right.
It has actually helped me a lot.
Now, if you could turn the hand of the clock backwards, would you still go in for psychology?
Yes, psychology and computer. I want to know computer like a wizard. Yes, I would like to study human being and computer, because this is the computer age. As I'm adding computer, I'm going back to school to do computer. this is a computer age, because very soon you don't know computer, you'll not be able to do a lot of things yourself.
Now, is the fact that you're a filmmaker also related to your wanting to be a computer wizard, as you put it?
Yes, because movie making is computer now. Very soon we have to be streaming movies on the internet. Everything is going on the internet. The radio is on the internet. Everything is on the internet. So if you do film, you have to upgrade. It's just like upgrading. This is a computer age. You do your movies, you put it out there. So you have to be able to have a backup. As things are changing, you're upgrading yourself. So my computer doing is to help me in my filmmaking too.
Now, let me just prop in and ask this question about everything going electronic. I realize that in songs, for instance, the computer has the capacity, the ability to twist things around. Like you do a song with your natural voice and the computer turns this voice around. It becomes really, really something else, really artificial. Don't you think this is another side of the computer which is not so pleasant, because at the end of the day, we are kind of losing that natural flair which we have in our voices and you know, other things.
Yes, you're 100% correct in that. You know, that's computer twisting or auto-tune. It was meant for adjustment, to adjust little things, little errors.
Right.
That's been done in the studio. But right now, you know, every mistake here is a new star.
So what?
There's an error.
So what you are insinuating is that it is exaggerated.
Yes, it is. It is being abused now. It's not using. They are not using it for the reason it was made. It's not just for you to go sing everything auto-tune. No, it's supposed to correct some little mistakes that were done in the studio.
Right.
But right now, people see the opportunity to use it, and they think everybody like it, like the new age. They like things like that. But old schools, people that know music, people that love music, don't want to listen to autotune.
Good. Okay. I love that explanation. And talking about old school, Ngozi, we shall be taking our listeners to some beautiful high life coming from the Republic, the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and of course Ghana in this edition of the show. Thank you so much, Ngozi. You are the main guest in this edition of African Cocktail, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, that was our main guest in that first phase of our interaction. She's speaking from Texas in this edition of the show. And so, African Cocktail is coming to you from Africa Radio with Ernest Kanjo. Let's ride on with music, then we'll be right back.
Stella,
His name is Saleh John. He's doing that one titled Homage à Eboalotin. Saleh John paying tribute to the legendary Eboalotin who went long ago, but then his music still plays on beautiful piece there coming to you from Africa Radio. And of course, the show is African Cocktail, 16 minutes past 11, and we are still expecting lots and lots of people to talk in this edition of the show. Remember that we shall be going down south, where Solomon Ada will be dishing out his report. Okay. Lots and lots of interesting things coming up. Don't go away. Okay, from Saleh John in that beautiful one titled Homage Eboalotin, we now move on to another legend. His name is Joe Maso. That one is titled Tondon Demba. Quite a priceless piece there from Joe Masso. Tondo Ndemba is coming to you from Africa Radio. And of course, from the show African Cocktail with your Wednesday friend Ernest Kanjo. It's exactly 26 minutes past 11 in the city of Columbus, state of Ohio, United States of America. And of course, time for us to move back to Texas, where it is 10:26 precisely in Houston, where our main guest is on standby. Her name is Ngozi Ibe. She's now back on the line. You're welcome once again, Ngozi.
Thank you very much.
Now, Ngozi, I also understand that apart from filmmaking, you also sing. And we can get that from your voice, quite a beautiful voice, which means that the music is beautiful as well. So for how long have you been singing, and what motivated you to get into singing?
Oh, my God. I've been singing since I was 14 in the church. I used to be in the church choir. And we used to sing, like kids. Then it wasn't something like something I really wanted to do. So I was singing because I wanted to sing then. But as I grow up, I start understanding the importance of music. Like music heals the soul. It's like food to the soul. So I was singing.
So, do you do music at a professional level?
Yes, I do.
Right. And I understand you have chosen the gospel genre. Why that choice?
Yes, I try to relate to people with song, with fame, anyhow I can reach to people. And I decided to do gospel/inspirational because there are a lot of things that we see that we cannot really. There are a lot of people we cannot reach to, but through our music, we can reach to them. So I decided to do that because I want to be able to console people that are going through whatever they're going through in life, because there's always one to know the other going on. So I decided to reach people with inspirational songs, with gospel, something that could give them hope. So I just decided to do that to be able to reach people deep in their heart.
So you say you do music at a professional level. So how many albums do you have, and where exactly do they circulate?
Okay, I have 2 albums, and I have them here in America. They're online. We have them in some few stores. I'm just getting a marketer in Nigeria that took over the Nigerian market.
Right.
So from there, maybe we can now extend to the African market. But right now, I just got a marketer in Africa, in Nigeria, that I want to release my album this August. And I'm looking forward to that.
And how many songs does each of those albums have?
Okay, my first album was a very short one. It had 4. And the second one, I have 8 tracks on them.
And that makes 12.
Yes.
And tell us about some of those songs you think carry very important messages, and how have these songs created an impact on the audience?
Okay, I have this one, Jesus. Is that I love this song so much that I don't know, because it's just telling us what Jesus came to do for us. Because sometimes people ask questions like, Jesus died for our sins before. So what about the sins that we've committed right now? People ask some questions because they don't know. So in that song, Jesus, it tells us all that no matter what it is, no matter what you went through, no matter what, even before you do or before you commit this sin, you know that you're going to do it. So it's been paid for. It's just you realizing that, okay, I did it, and now I want to come back. So His grace is sufficient for us. So that the song Jesus is very deep. That sometimes I play it like a prayer.
Right.
Yes, Jesus. I love Jesus. And another one, Never Back Down, is my newest one. It's just telling you never back down, no matter what it is. You have life. There's always way. So those are my favorite two tracks, Jesus and Never Back Down.
Ngozi, I know you do school. If you are not in school, you are probably directing a movie. If you are not doing that, you are probably featuring or you are on set in somebody else's movie, which means that you are a busy person. Where do you find time to sing, and where do you intend to take this music career of yours to?
Oh, okay. My acting career or my school, I try to work with time. Don't affect what I do, because I try to do what I can do. So before I take a job, I'll check my schedule and see if it's something I can do, because I have the time for my music, I have time for my movie, directing movie, and I have time that I have to go act in other people's movies because I act too. So I try to work with my time. I do play in churches and events, so people do call me, they book me, so I work with my calendar.
Right.
But I have time, and I'm going to sing till I die, because music is just like a food to the soul. You can't stop singing.
Right.
Everybody sings. So maybe you sing in your bathroom too sometimes.
Definitely, everybody was born with singing. There is a school of thought that music actually came with creation.
Yes.
Okay, Ngozi, thank you so much. I'll be right back with you, and you are the main guest in this edition of African Cocktail. Like I said, and this is your darling show coming to you from Africa Radio this day, Wednesday, May the 21st, 2014. We still have lots and lots of people who will be talking in this edition of the show. At midday, we'll probably be going to South Africa, where Solomon Atta is on standby. Okay, let's have some music, then we will be right back. That's still one of the pioneering groups of Makossa. You can get the voices of Nkoti Francois and, of course, Emile Kange. Emile Kange resides in Atlanta here in the United States of America, while Nkoti Francois is the mayor of Suza. Suza is found in Mongo Division in the littoral region of Cameroon. And, of course, you're listening to African Cocktail with Ernest Kanjo. 614-987-5097 are the numbers to dial to get in touch with us this morning. Just right ahead, we shall be moving down to South Africa, where Solomon Atta will be joining us with what would have made news in that beautiful and industrialized country. Don't just go away. And there is a breaking news from South Africa. Don't just go away. We shall be breaking that news to you in this edition of African Cocktail. Hey, meantime, the race for the victors of the Nollywood and African Film Critics Awards NAFCA has just begun with the publication of the list of nominations. Oh, the nominees. This list was published late last week, and of course, there are lots and lots of friends of this show who have their names on that list. So this is going to be an open platform. If you know that you are a NAFCA nominee, then come on board and do your campaigns. Nothing political, but very, very artistic. That's how we do it on African Cocktail. Beautiful music from Cameroon, Coty Francois, and the Black Steel in that beautiful one titled Black Steel Moisa.
And come with power.
From Black Steel to Belanger, and that one is titled Kosa Kosa. We are still in Cameroon. Soon we shall be doing a Southern African musical ride. You're going to listen to music from Angola, music from Mozambique, and of course music from Swaziland. That will be right ahead in this edition of African Cocktail, coming to you from Africa Radio, 29 minutes to 12. Okay, just right ahead, we shall be moving down south. And like I said, there is some breaking news emanating from South Africa. Don't go away, we are going to break it. Okay, that's all we had as far as our Cameroon music ride is concerned in this edition of African Cocktail. For the first time on the show, we are going to listen to some music in the southern parts of Africa. Let's begin with this one, Mampi Swilili. We are in Zambia. Zambia is situated in the southern region of the beautiful African continent. This is African Cocktail, don't go away.
Thank you.
And this is a special dedication to all our listeners in Lusaka, the beautiful city of Lusaka. Lusaka is the capital of Zambia. Mampi Sweet Lily, beautiful music there coming to you from Zambia, that is the southern region of Africa. And remember that there is some breaking news emanating from that region of the continent. We are going to break that news to you just right ahead in this edition of African Conclave. Time for us to move back to Houston to meet our main guest, Ngozi Ibe, who is on standby. Okay, Ngozi, once again, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so you are an actress. How long have you been doing performing arts?
That's a great question. I don't know how to answer that. Well, my first acting, my first time to be on the screen was in 1994.
Right.
That was the first time I was in a movie.
And where was that? In Nigeria?
In Nigeria, 1994, and the name of the film is Frame Up.
So, what actually motivated you to get into movie acting?
You know, in those days from school, when we were in high school, we go to watch plays in the theater from school. So actually, we used to go watch, you know, like literature plays, like Macbeth. You know, so on this day we went to watch this Macbeth and some local.
Right.
They were rehearsing at the theater. They were rehearsing one of their soap opera then. And he saw us and called us to his table and like, oh, what do you guys do? You're supposed to be in school. And we said we came to watch the play. He said, but you, that was me then. He said, do you like to act? I said, I don't know if I can act. He said, everybody can act. I said, okay. So he asked me to give me an appointment to come for the rehearsals. And I did. That was early 93.
Right.
And I went to their rehearsal, but I didn't actually do anything. I was watching them. And as time goes on, the next year I went for an audition, and I was encouraged to come into act. I loved what they were doing. You know, it was funny to me. You can write up something is different, like to act than to write. So we go and watch this play, and it's something we want to watch, but to act is hard. So, but when I started going close to them, I realized that you can actually do it. So it's everything we do at home. Like it's acting. So that was how I started, actually.
Right. And that should have been the early days of Nollywood, which has today become so prosperous. Could you just describe how those days look like? How was it in the landscape?
Oh my God! In the beginning, a lot of people thought it was not going to stand, like this Nollywood thing, because it was not even called Nollywood. It wasn't called anything then. So some people think it's a child's play. But my parents never wanted me to act. So after they never wanted me to act because they have this notion like when you act movie, you're exposed to the world, so you're vulnerable to anything that counts. So after I did Fame Up in 94, I stopped acting because my parents refused me to act. So, but then it was still the same message, trying to tell stories, tell the African story, what is going on, educate people on things that they don't know that really exist.
Right.
You know, so I was still behind the camera, even though I wasn't acting because of the love I have for the art. I still continue in entertainment, but I refuse to act because my parents don't want it. So I used to be a continuity person. I did continuity for a long time. So I'm behind the scene. We make the movie, but I'm not in the movie. So back then, people didn't want their family to act, especially females. So it's the very brave ones that were in those days. So people like us were not able to really do what we were supposed to do at that time because of our parents. But now, we are more civilized.
Right.
So parents can actually encourage their family, their kids to go into sports, to go into art, whatever they love to do, they support them and they be there for them. So it's much more easier now than it used to be then.
So apart from that first movie you featured in, which other ones have you done?
Okay, I've been in After Fame Up. I did Naughty Jazz in 1996. Then I did to get the Oscars in America here. I did Blindfolded. I did The Next Life to Be In. And I have 3 other movies that we just did. They're not out yet. There was one I just finished last week. That one is called Ron's Babe. I did The Brat, which is my movie. Then there's another one I'm going for tomorrow. I'm actually supposed to be in Maryland for another movie. This one is actually a TV series. I'll be traveling tomorrow to Maryland.
And there is surely 1, 2, or 3 of these movies you would always sit back and say they were the most challenging.
The most challenging is just the one I just finished last week. Oh my God, it's about Ron's Babe. Ron's Babe is, I don't want to give it out, it's not my production. It's about prostitution in high class. I don't see any, prostitution is prostitution. So it was a little bit out of my days, but I had to get into character to be able to pull it out. And it was challenging, but I'm happy that I did it.
Right. Okay, and one of those African actors featuring in that same production is Ken Monet Ngamne. He will be talking in this edition of African Cocktail. But for you, Ngozi, I'll be back with you just right ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, that's our main guest in this edition of the show, speaking from Houston live. Okay, in a couple of minutes we shall be hitting the road to South Africa, where we hear there is something big happening. So, like I said, you are going to get that in this edition of African Cocktail. We stay in the southern region of the continent, and precisely in Angola, where we meet Patricia Farai in that one titled Fofaka Joaquina. Okay, let's go.
Joaquina hoje sai de Iacé, amanhã de Corocá, depois de Guarega e de Tubaré. E diz assim,
Dédicace à tous mes amis de Luanda. Luanda is the capital of Angola. Beautiful country. Okay, you're listening to beautiful music from Angola. This is African Cock in the 52nd edition, coming to you from the #1 station. Call it Africa Radio.
coitadinha dela, gira e rola. Coitadinha dela, gira e rola. Depois de dar passada, é que quero mara, mas os santos não lhe aparecem para lhe dar essa pensada. Joaquina, não faz isso. Como dizer, ai, do lado do motorista, é perigoso. Motorista aguenta soa. Como dizer, ai, do lado do motorista, é perigoso. Motorista aguenta soa. Coitadinha dela, gira e rola. Coitadinha dela, gira e rola. É quem quer o lara, mas os santos não lhe aparecem para me dar essa pesadão. Joaquina, olha o árvore. Ai. Ai, do lado do motorista, é perigoso. Motorista aguenta soa. Fofoquice, do lado do motorista, é perigoso. Motorista aguenta soa. Coitadinha dela, gira e rola. Coitadinha dela, gira e rola. É que quero lara, mas os santos não lhe aparecem para lhe dar essa pesadão. Joaquina, olha o que medo. Coitadinha dela, gira e rola. Coitadinha dela, gira e rola. É que quero lara, mas os santos não lhe aparecem para lhe dar essa pesadão.
Patricia Faria in that beautiful one titled Fofaka Joaquina. Beautiful music coming to you from Angola in the southern region of Africa. And we move next door to Cape Verde. And in Cape Verde, we are going to meet Maisa in that beautiful one that resembles Congolese music. But then, we are in Cape Verde. It sounds Congolese, but definitely it's not. It's from Cape Verde. Hey, just one item on Solomon's agenda this in this edition of African Cocktail. Breaking news, and of course, breaking news from South Africa. You are going to get that in a couple of seconds. Okay, wherever you are around the globe listening to African Cocktail at this moment, just open your ears wide enough, because there's some breaking news on the African continent, precisely in South Africa. Don't just go away. We are breaking the news in a couple of seconds. Music from Cape Verde, coming to you from Africa Radio, and of course from African Cocktail with Ernest Kanjo. This day, May the 21st, 2014. And so, here is the breaking news. South Africa has a new president. A new president has just been elected in South Africa. That's definitely going to be the lone item on Solomon's agenda, South Connect. And at exactly 5 minutes past 12, let us move down to Cape Town, where our man is on standby. Solomon, you're welcome. South Africa has a new president, so we hear.
Jacob Zuma has been elected president of South Africa for the second term. This took place today in Cape Town in the National Assembly of the Republic. Today, as the sun comes over the Table Mountain and day breaks over Cape Town, cooled by fresh northeasterly winds from both the Atlantic and Indian Oceans, Cape Town basked in democratic glory as scores of people packed the public gallery in the National Assembly while the newly elected parliamentarians make their way into the chambers to witness the swearing in of South Africa's fifth democratic parliament. This special session of parliament was convened by Chief Justice of the Republic, Chief Justice Mogoeng in terms of the constitution of the land. The swearing-in event was repetitive, with 400 parliamentarians swearing or taking an affirmation in groups of 10. This is when the protocol of parliamentary proceedings is strictly observed. Most of the country watched it on TV or followed on social media. Earlier, the Western Cape legislature elected Helen Zille as the Premier of the Western Cape. The Western Cape is the only province that was not won by the African National Congress. Yesterday, the ANC announced the names of 8 premiers in the provinces it won during the May 7 elections. It must be noted that the provinces of Gauteng, which is the economic capital of the country, the Northwest Province and the Eastern Cape will see new names as premiers, while other 5 provinces maintained the premiers who served in the past 5 years. Ernest, while South Africa awaits the swearing in and the inauguration of President-elect Jacob Zuma on Saturday, 24th May, in the Nelson Mandela Amphitheatre at the Union Buildings, the ANC remained tight-lipped on who will serve in the next cabinet, maintaining that it is the President's prerogative to appoint the members of government. Whosoever will be appointed in the new government has their work cut out for them, as the challenge remains enormous. Issues on jobs, education, healthcare, slow economic growth will be the defining factors of their work for the next 5 years.
Right.
This is Solomon Atta for African Cocktail in Cape Town.
Solomon, if you don't mind, could you just take 1 or 2 questions before you leave us?
Yes, Ernest, go ahead.
Now, Solomon, soon as the highest judicial body of the country pronounced that Jacob Zuma had been re-elected, what was the immediate reaction of the people?
Ernest, the reaction was mostly expected. I have to indicate to you and the listeners that South Africa has a parliamentary system of government. What this means is that you vote for a political party in South Africa, and then the political party gets to choose their president. So when the ANC already won the national elections, we as South Africans, we already knew who was the presidential candidate for the ANC. In this case, it was the incumbent President Jacob Zuma. So today, most of these outcomes today were procedural in that because the parliament, what happens in South Africa is that the 400 members of parliament now have to nominate. So when they nominate a candidate for the post of president, then the parliamentarians are the ones that get to choose a president. The ANC having 255 seats in the parliament of 400 seats, it was more than conclusive that they are, in this case, the ANC's presidential candidate, Jacob Zuma, who is also the incumbent president, will easily win the election and become our next president.
Solomon, like you said, it is quite procedural what is happening. But I just want to find out if the general will, of South Africa is for Jacob Zuma. Generally, do people really think that Jacob Zuma should continue to be their president?
Ernest, I will say yes. And this was expressed during the national vote in that ANC secures more than 62% of the national vote and a total of more than 11 million votes from the 18 or so million people who voted in the last general elections.
Right.
It has to be noted that given that it is a proportional representation in parliament, so when the party that has already secured a majority of the national vote, whosoever they choose as their presidential candidate, the country per se would not necessarily have a say. But it has to be indicated that for the president, for any political party to put forward, in this case the ANC, they already knew, and the country already knew who was going to be nominated even before the elections. Because the ANC has a list system, or the proportional system of election in the parliament is a list, which means from number one, the number one person on the list, being the leader of the party, is also a presidential candidate.
Right.
So before the general electorate went to the polls on May 7th, they already knew that if ANC were to win this election, or if that party were to win this election, this is the name of the person that is going to be put forward for president. So in this case, the country was not surprised. It was merely an affirmation of what we already knew. And also because the ANC win an overwhelming majority, especially in their terms, even though they lost about 3% of the vote compared to 2009, they were campaigning with Jacob Zuma, who was the incumbent president, who was not been re-elected as their presidential candidate.
Right. Last question, Solomon. Is this going to be the last mandate for Jacob Zuma?
Yes, the Constitution of South Africa clearly spells out that a president shall serve 2 terms, and 2 terms only, and would not be eligible for re-election.
Right.
And that also applies to the Constitution of the ANC. The president is only allowed to serve only 2 terms within the ANC. And I have to indicate to you and the listeners that the ANC remains the predominant political party in South Africa. And Ernest, on a lighter note, I have to indicate that of everything that we know about parliamentary procedures and parliamentary attire, the new political party that was formed by the former ANC Youth League leader, who is now the leader of the Economic Freedom Fighters, they showed up today for their swearing-in ceremony in red overalls, because they're saying that they are representing the workers and the poor people of this country, and they are going to parliament to go and work.
Right.
So going to work, they have to show up in work clothes. They don't have to wear ties and so on, because they reckon the people that wear ties are elites, and they're staying away from what they term an elitist parliament. They're going to be wearing their overalls, and they will be going to parliament and so on. But it remains to be seen if that itinerary or that parliamentary attire that they're putting on, the red overalls, continue throughout the 5 years.
Right. Okay, going to work, you have to show up in work clothes. Solomon, thank you so much, and thank you for that breaking news. Okay, Solomon Atta, our man in Cape Town, breaking the news to us. And that breaking news is that South Africa has a new president, and that new president is the re-elected Jacob Zuma. And we are told that Zuma has his last term. Thereafter, he will be bidden by to the presidency of that giant economy on the African continent. Thank you so much, Solomon, and we hope to have you again next week, probably to tell us about the inaugural of the country's new president, which will happen this Saturday, May the 24th, 2014. And for those of you just joining us, this is African Cocktail, the 52nd edition, coming to you from Africa Radio with Ernest, Kanjo. Let's ride on with music then. We shall be right back. Okay, we stay down south to water down that beautiful news we just got from South Africa from our man Solomon Atata. We are in Mozambique, and of course you're listening to this one titled Ayi Dytmi, and the musician is Neymar. Mozambique. This is dedicated to all my friends in Maputo. Maputo is the capital of that great southern African country. We stay in Mozambique, where we meet Vuthu Marabenta in that beautiful one titled Vuthu Marabenta. Yes, the artist is Mabemuda. Yes, Mabemuda is the artist, and of course the song is Vuthu Marabenta. Okay, we are in the southern part of the continent. Some beautiful music emanating from that region, and of course you're listening to African Cocktail, the show on your Africa Radio that comes up every Wednesday. Okay, let's ride on with music and we'll be right back.
Marabenta food, Marabenta food, Leche Marabenta food, Shuru Marabenta food, Wadam Sagazi, Wadam Sagazi, Shuru Wadam Sagazi, Wadam Sagazi, Mabermuda Muraluye, Why Chini Sakai Kai, Mabermuda Muraluye, Why Chini Sangupe.
Soul searching, captivating, beautiful music from the southern region of Africa. We are going to pause that one because our man in Antwerp, Belgium is already on the line with updates on happenings in that part of Europe and of course that part of the world. Titus Banyo, you're welcome to this edition of African Cocktail.
Yes, good morning, Ernest, and it's good afternoon from the Kingdom of Belgium, to be precise. I'm reporting out here in the Diamond City, Antwerp. Yes, Ernest, when the weather conditions become better, so too are people's minds in the organization of activities. The Nigerian duo Bracket will be in Belgium for their very first time. On Saturday, May 24, the inhabitants of the capital of Belgium, that's Brussels, shall be dancing to the famous song Yuri Yuri as the duo will be thrilling the audience at the Birmingham street out there in Brussels. Yes, away from that, Christians of the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon, Belgium, will be celebrating 10 years of existence in this part of the world. That will be on Sunday, May 25. And the event to kick off at 10 a.m. with the church service shall take place at the Bredaban 280 Mexen here in Antwerp. The Presbyterian Church in Cameroon, Ernest, is here in Belgium. It's an arm of the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon that started way back in 2004 when some Christians with a Presbyterian Church background came together to form what is 10 years old this year. It must be noted that it all started in Antwerp, but today the church has expanded with congregations in Ghent, Leuven and Brussels. Short proof of growth, Ernest. And needless to say that there is already too much anxiety among the Christians as they expect a colorful ceremony. The event for sure will bring together all congregations of the church as well as other denominations. So, Ernest, if there is some magic you can play to be here, then you can as well be sure that you will live with that nostalgic feeling when we used to worship right back in Cameroon, because everything is just the same. Well, Ernest, that's the bit I gathered from this end. Except you have some questions, well, I will be taking a rendezvous for next week.
Titus, let's take the rendezvous for next week. And since God is a miraculous God, God does the impossible. Why not? I may just land in Antwerp before you know it. Okay, Titus, thank you so much. Beautiful package there from Antwerp, this Diamond City where our man Titus Banyo resides, and from where Baltimore FM emanates. Baltimore FM is that newborn, in the media landscape, and of course, it's been making great vibrations all over the world. Okay, this is African Cocktail with Ernest Kanjo. We now move from the southern region of the continent to what we call contemporary music. Call it urban music. Okay, let's visit this young Cameroonian. His name is Wax Day, featuring in this one titled I Don't See My Wife with Don Tom. And this is a dedication to all those who are tying the nuptial knot this weekend. Okay, let's go. Okay, a beautiful remix there, made by Tom Dom, and of course Wax Day. Beautiful piece, which actually went viral when it came out. Okay, we will definitely pause this and come back to it when we must have spoken with our next guest in this edition of African Cocktail. He is a big name in the industry. He's done so much. You don't need to introduce him again. His name is Victor VU, director, producer of Nina's Diary. So much happening around him. Okay, Victor is now on the line. Victor, good morning. Is that good afternoon? Okay, whatever time is it out there in Los Angeles. You're welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
So, how are you doing, Victor?
I'm great, thank you.
Okay, so last week you were in New York, where Nina's Diary was playing at the New York African Film Festival. How did it go?
Oh, it was blowing. It was a wonderful experience. The audience reaction during the movie, it was amazing. And then afterwards, what was even better was that no one left the theater. Everybody stayed behind for the Q&A. The Q&A was so engaging, we were so engrossed in it that we had to be kicked out of the theater, so that they can show the next movie.
Right.
Then, we were at the entrance, they kicked us out again. We were at the lobby, they kicked us out again. So we had to go to the main lobby. And some 3 hours after the screening, I was still talking to people.
Victor, you just talked about the Q&A. What were people asking you? Because lots and lots of things have been said about this movie. What were the people who actually participated in that screening asking to know from you?
Oh, they had all sorts of questions. They wanted to know how the movie was cast, how the movie was put together. They wanted to know if those events, still take place in Cameroon. They wanted to know how close to reality, those events were. They wanted to know if the movie has been screened in Cameroon. They wanted to know what's the next plan for the film. They had all sorts of questions, and there were people who were very, very interested in talking about the details and finding connections between the film and things that are happening in other places in the world. They were telling me, they were relating their own experiences from different countries. And it was amazing. We were talking, and I even learned some stuff about Cameroon that I didn't know.
Right. Now, Victor, like the host of the TV show on which you were guest just before you left New York, were commenting, the latest screening of this film, is coming at a time when the world is joining Nigeria to clamor for the release of some 230 or so girls who were adopted. Now, this story was conceived more than 12 years ago, yet it is still a topical issue. Would you be one of those who would tell young filmmakers to rather go in for stories that are timeless and even universal, that would easily not fade, you know?
Actually, I'm a big advocate for that. I'm a big advocate for telling stories that are timeless, telling stories that are not just the fad, stories that are not just the hot topic of the day. Hot topic of the day, it's important to tell movies like that. But then, usually, when you want to tell a movie about a hot topic of the day, by the time that you finish that movie, that topic is not hot anymore. So it's not interesting to people anymore.
Right.
You see? So what you want to do is find stories that I think subject matter that hold, the test of time. You see, because even the Boko Haram and all the things that are happening, there are a couple of other stories that I've been talking about them for years now, but nobody paid attention, because of course it's happening in Africa, it's happening, in West Africa, they had not made headlines yet, so nobody really paid attention to what I was talking about. Now people are coming to me and they're saying that, so this is what we were talking about. I'm saying, yes, I've been talking about it for years, Now it's entrenched, and unfortunately it's kind of too late, to really put like a big dent in what they're trying to do.
Now, apart from the government, which, according to our last conversation on this medium, had not reacted significantly to this Nina's Diaries progress, have any Cameroonian entities, be they organizations or even individuals, opted to appreciate and even support this project in any way? It could just be like buying the rights to use the film as didactic material, or even screen it in seminars, conferences that address women's issues particularly.
Well, not yet. I'm waiting. The line is open. I'm waiting. Right now, we're partnering with Gopher in Cameroon to see if we can get, a sponsor still to screen the film. I'm at a point where I think that, if in the next couple of months that doesn't happen, we'll just pick a date and do it ourselves, and screen it in Cameroon, because I want the film to be seen in Cameroon. It needs to be seen in Cameroon. And then, hopefully, my big worry is that, I don't know if Cameroonians, it just feels like, our state of mind is that the things that we push are the things that we make ourselves, sometimes we don't see the merit in things that others make, and show support for it. And it's not just, I'm not just talking about, other people supporting Nina's Diary. I'm just talking about other projects, because, again, I related a story a while back about a Ugandan friend of mine, who made a movie, and Ugandans, came together and they screened this film in Boston. They rented space, they got, the advertisement out, they did everything, and all this friend of mine did was show up. Actually, they paid for his way to show up at the screening. And he screened this film, and, what was paid at the door and for entry, he kept. But this was made possible because Ugandans took pride in the film, and they showed up. And the only unfortunate thing I have to say about the screening in New York that went so well is that, believe it or not, other than myself and a guest that I had there, there was one other Cameroonian. One other Cameroonian was in the audience. You won't believe this, The film that screened afterwards was, I believe it was from Guinea or something like that.
Right.
But that film, you could see Guineans, they showed up at the screening to support their film. And I'm like, wow, what is it about us that we don't want to support our own, our own project, It doesn't have to be Nina's Diary. I'm just calling on all Cameroonians, filmmakers, entertainers, and just people who are just in the U.S., they don't have to be in entertainment. Show up and support Cameroonian stuff, Cameroonian art, whether it's music, whether it's a film, anything Cameroonian, show up and support it, because you are supporting the country, you're supporting your flag, you're supporting, your people. It's not just one person that you support when you show up for events like this, That's the only thing I can say is heartening about the screening in New York.
Right. Okay, Victor, we haven't had the opportunity yet to talk about the Kenyan who just won the Oscars recently. Now, there are definitely some people who think of Nina's Diary each time 12 Years a Slave is mentioned, and who also see your main actress, that is Mbufong Seke, each time they see Lupita. Now, did that Lupita episode at any moment make you imagine it could as well be your own production and one of your actors? So how close are you to this glory?
Well, absolutely, it made me think about that, and this is not about ego, but then to me, it's just an appreciation for the performance that, Mbufoseke gave in Nina's dowry. And frankly, really, she should be in the conversation because she has won in competition with all of these big names, at festivals. She has won Best Actress when these people were competing, when these actresses and actors were competing, So she should be in the conversation. The unfortunate thing and what's holding us back is that at this time, Cameroon has not registered to submit projects to the Academy Awards. Tried all of last year to get us to register and it did not work. And it's not that I can do it as an individual. If it was an individual thing, I would have done it already. The thing is the country has to do it. To be more specific, the Ministry of Culture needs to appoint a committee to do it, to submit Cameroon's application so that they can submit the film for the foreign Oscars. Because if they submit the film for the foreign Oscars, it doesn't have to submit a film. Let me submit a film. It doesn't have to be Nina's dowry. We should, as a country, be in a position where if we make quality work, that quality work, is seen around the world. And one way to put the word out that this is quality work is to nominate your film, to nominate a film that is, as a country to represent you at the foreign Oscars. So I'm still hoping that there is a chance for Mbufoseke and other people on the project to get, the kind of attention that 12 Years a Slave received.
Right. Now, Victor, you had hardly settled down after your trip to New York than nominations for NAFCA 2014 dropped, and you happen to be one of the nominees. I see your name in the Best Director category. How did you take that, Victor? What was your immediate reaction when that news was announced to you?
Oh, actually, if you want to be shocked, I might have to shock you now.
Go ahead.
I'm just learning that from you right now.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting.
I had no idea. Yes, I had no idea I was nominated. Are you serious?
Definitely.
Oh, wow, that's amazing because we are live like this. I'm finding out from you that I was nominated.
Then you need to go online and find out.
This is taking place in that market here in LA. In Hollywood, right? That's where this edition will be.
Right.
Wow, that's amazing.
So, what do you think about that?
Oh, I think that's amazing. That's mind-blowing, really. Now I have to really check it out and really follow up. Wow, I had no idea. Wow.
Okay, Victor, that should be a pleasant surprise then.
Yes, it's an absolutely pleasant surprise.
Okay, so you definitely want to tell potential voters why should they choose you as Best NAFCA 2014 Director?
Oh my! Please, at the work that has been done, and look at also the personality. Because again, honestly, I'm going to say that the movie was not made because I wanted to be Best Director. The movie was made because we wanted the message to get out there. And I'm happy for the cast and the crew and the attention that they got. So I think because of that selflessness, I'm hoping that other people can say, okay, the audience can say, okay, this guy is truly selfless, because I am truly selfless. If for some reason they don't nominate me, they should know that I am still very, very. They don't vote for me. They should know that I'm still very, very grateful that I received the nomination. It is very humbling. And for those who vote for me, know that you're casting a vote for someone who appreciates every single thing about it. I don't take anything for granted at all.
Okay, Victor, thank you so much. And I'm also glad that the news was broken to you on this show. Thank you so much, Victor, for stopping by.
Thank you always for having me on. Thank you, and great job as always.
Okay, my regards to you and the entire Nina's Diary team. His name is Victor VU, Cameroonian filmmaker based in Los Angeles, and of course, Victor is a happy director and producer of more than 30 awards for a 2012 movie he did, Nina's Diary. Okay. Well, so much has been said about it, and so long as Nina's Diary remains in the news, we are going to keep talking about it. Now, African Cocktail coming to you from Africa Radio. Let's move back to Don Tom and Wax Day.
I don't find
Okay, to all the young men and women who have decided to move to the altar this weekend and have the nuptial knot tied, okay, this is for you. Good luck and start the matrimony today. Be responsible. That is the message from African Cocktail, and of course that is the message you're getting from Don Tom, and of course Wax Day. Beautiful music coming to you from Africa region. And of course the show is African Cocktail. Ernest Kanjo is my name. And of course, the beautiful voices converge on Maryland this Friday for praise songs. It's a concert that is going to take place thanks to one powerful Cameroonian music. Is she a music manager? Probably, yes. Okay, we're going to talk about that when Panzita and Joe joins us in this edition of African Cocktail in just a couple of seconds. Soul-searching music, beautiful message. When you find a wife, then you have found life. Okay, marriage is a responsible act, like it or not. Okay, let's move to Maryland, where Panzita is surely. Is she in Maryland or in Cincinnati? Okay, let's find out. Panzita and Joy, you're welcome to African Cocktail.
Hello.
So, where are you talking from this morning? Cincinnati or MD?
Oh, Cincinnati.
Okay, I thought you had already moved to Maryland.
Oh, no, Maryland will be tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Okay, so definitely you hit the road tomorrow for Maryland, where you'll be having a gospel music concert dubbed Night of Praise. So, could you just tell us how you got contacted for this concert?
Well, the host, Ms. Kanjo, she is from Maryland. She is a friend to my friend. So she's like, oh my God, I need to have you to be part of this concert. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm not in Maryland, you know that. She's like, yeah, I know that, but I really, really want you to be part of it. And I'm like, okay, let me check my schedule. Then I go on and I realize that I'm supposed to be in Maryland for a church convention. And during that same time, and I'm like, wow, this is really perfect. It works out together. So we just got it from there.
Right. So Friday's concert will surely be one of the biggest you have had, at least for the past couple of months, given that you're a full-time student and probably you haven't had much time all this while. Apparently, Panzita, you are anxious to hit the stage once again.
You're very true. That's very true. I know school has been taking me all by surprise, and so I have not really had time, so I'm really excited about this. But at the same time, as you said, I'm nervous because it's been a while.
And one of the reasons I would imagine this event is holding is for your, artists, to use your song ministries to pray and restore glory to your country, Cameroon. We understand Cameroon celebrated the National Day yesterday. So how do you feel to be part of such a noble exercise to praise the Lord for your country?
I am really, really excited. I would say I am glad that things like this are being held, Not every
country has an opportunity to do things like this. And I am so proud that Cameroon, the youths are able to come up with an idea like this. And it can only show how much, we can expect from the future, young generation of Cameroonians, that we are seeking God at this very young age means that we are going to attain higher heights. When you have God by your side, it means you're going to do great things. So even though, people celebrate in different ways, they go parties and stuff like that, but I'm so happy that we are able to celebrate it with God, and I want to invite everybody to be part of it as much as they can, celebrate it with God. Thank God for what He has done for Cameroon, and pray that He will take us to do greater things, right?
Patita, someone said that if a singer goes for one day without singing, she notices it. When she goes for 2 days without singing, the audience will definitely notice it. You and I agree that you've been silent for a while. Has this kind of affected your singing? And just how prepared are you for Friday's concert? Are you going to be up to date?
I will be. I don't think it is affected me that bad. So, I'm not doing bigger things, like going out and traveling, but I have been singing in church, so right. I will be fine.
Okay, she's definitely going to be fine. It's been a while since you released Life Done Better, and your fans will surely be expecting something new. Any promises?
I wouldn't promise. I wouldn't say that. If there is anything I would appreciate if it comes as a surprise, so I wouldn't say anything.
Okay, so what message are you sending out there to Cameroonians, especially Cameroonians who celebrated National Day yesterday, and of course your fans?
I want to say, Happy National Day in areas to all Cameroonians, and also I want to say it's not too late to go to God and ask Him to help us, and pray for our country, because we see what is happening to our neighboring country, Nigeria, and all of that. And God has been able to, protect Cameroon in a way that we've not had wars or big, major, issues in the country so far. So I want to say it's not too late for us to go down on our knees and pray for Cameroon during this very crucial time, and invite everyone who is in the Maryland area to be part of it. This May 23rd, 6 p.m. and the address, if they go on my Facebook, they would see it.
Okay, 6 p.m. Maryland. Go there and of course watch the girls do it the way they know best. Pandita, thank you so much for stopping by.
Okay, you too.
Okay, so her name is Pandita Ngozi Ibe, inviting you to join her on stage this Friday in Maryland, where she'll be joined by a host of other gospel artists to praise the Lord and of course pray, through song for their beloved country, Cameroon. And for those of you who have not listened to this yet, and for those of you who have but still love to listen to it again and again, this is Life Done Better, Pandita.
Everybody, wherever you are, come on now and join me to give the Lord praise, because He is worthy. He raised me up from every stinking praise and put me in a place where I'm worthy to give Him the worship that He deserves. Hallelujah!
My life done better.
is good, he is kind. My life done better. Panjita in that beautiful one. There, ladies and gentlemen, this is just a tip of the iceberg. For more, join Panjita on Friday, May the 23rd in Maryland, where she will hit the stage with a host of other gospel singers in Night of Praise. African Cocktail coming to you from Africa Radio at exactly 7 minutes to 1. Time for us to move back to Houston, where our main guest is on standby. Once again, Ngozi, you're welcome. Ngozi, you're welcome. Apparently, we're having problems with our main guest. Well, okay, we'll definitely come back to her. Okay, let's go back to who do we have? Okay.
This is another hip-hop classic.
Oh, na, na, na. Oh, na, na, na.
Genesis Records.
Oh, na.
Remix. Explain. Come your league. Got the Kanjo. Rapid pocket. I got special on the wall. Aye. So, from the league, talk to me.
Everybody pot balling. My pot can ball. To end dollars. You gotta fall it down.
Okay, from the Nigerian Cameroonian duo, we move to Liberia, where we meet Expole featuring the Liberian All-Stars. That one is titled Pot Not Boiling. We are doing urban music. And this segment is for the sake of our young listeners.
To hustle hard to buy my favorite rubber dog. The economic system by forge and I share her rat. Poverty was growing hot, so I gotta speak the fact. You think I'm talking crap? No, I'm talking rap. That's a survive, that's why my nigga doing old school. Some people say we fools, some people say we go to school. Some people still asking what it's doing for the youth. The government breaking, so the youth is still jacking. No entertainment, so we making no money. I'm telling it to y'all, I ain't having no job. That's what I stand for. My body can't ball.
Cause my part not falling. Corruption in the city that me keep this on dust. Cause my part not falling. Surely say she believe in me tonight. Cause my part not falling. Let her say I should live tomorrow. Cause my part not falling. Say now what I go do? Say what play I go go? Which kind of hustle I go hustle now? Say now what I go do? Say what I go do? Which kind of hustle I go hustle now?
Everybody pop balling, but my pocket ball. Now everybody cutting shop, but why I can't call? The whole cover hold, that the whole hustle. Send me you owe me one bottle. Now everybody for the set, only call for all. I hope it call for you, they want divine Congo all in the whole music game. Let me tell you what they think. See they think, they common people still don't know how to think they will learn. Because they all are common men get common sense. I'm a common sense, made me to be intelligent. I understand all that BB10. Oh, you barely better get no content. When I want you as a president, too much BB talk. And resort to negligent and neglected the building country no development. So embezzlement of the money to echo band, bidding all the country dance, putting our resources where they importing back. We can never see no profit, now we need a profit to come and take us from poverty to prosperity. For people crying every day.
Big masters,
everybody pot falling, my pot can ball. To end dollars, you gotta fall it down. Behold, come on.
Eba cover, eba follow, eba lover. Have to achieve the struggle, make the hustle better. Railway and blue, I'm like a prophet on the cross. I'm speaking in the message, but no one can hear my voice. I've been downplayed, Ella be my talent, never lift it. Every message that I brought to them is I'm business. I'm a power with ball, I support. Baby mama coming here and trying to the horse. I can stop my hustle, I'm a real true believer. Give on the Caesar, what? Belong the Caesar. Now for my one for the step, but mama like Bira. Don't you say that I can get me so you feel I grab it. know, hoping on the Lord that my life be established. And then I try, I think about my past. As a hustler, you gotta be strong in the face. You gotta double up, sometimes temptation come your way. Ever, when my price out of ball, as a whore, and the whole LIB, they wanna know what's up. What's up, they gonna know what's up. Look, life so hard. It seem a little nigga gotta hustle just to keep on a job. And this here is only college.
Okay, pot not boiling. Urban music there from Liberia, precisely from Expole, featuring Liberian All Stars. Let us move back to Houston, where our main guest is back. Her name is Ngozi Ibe. You're welcome back to the show. Hello?
Hello.
You're welcome back.
Oh, thank you very much.
Okay, we're sorry about that technical hitch. So, Ngozi, I would like us to talk about your life as an actress. We started that earlier on. But let me just find out from you, what particular characters do you always love to play in movies?
I can play any character, but being nude, I cannot play nude.
Definitely, and that's what we would not encourage young actresses to do, because that's lack of responsibility. We've always said that each time we have the opportunity. Okay, so do you consider being, or what do you consider? What do you consider before you accept a script?
The storyline, the message. When I read the script, I want to know the message, the impact that is going to give to the community before I take a script.
Right. You've been in this thing for a while, and I understand you can make some judgments based on your experience. So when you sit back and you watch your movies on screen, how would you describe yourself? What makes you a good actress?
I cannot talk about myself because you let other people to talk about you. That is a hard one. But the only thing I know that makes me happy is most of the directors I've worked with, they always tell me that people like you make my job easy.
Right.
So that's all I know, but I cannot talk about myself. I'll let people judge for themselves.
Right. So what has been your most memorable moments as an actress, and why?
Oh, shooting and directing The Brat, my movie. It was a great experience for me. I played a major role there, and I directed it, and I wrote the script. So it was a great experience, mixing all this together, being an actress, and I'm directing now. So this is not where director is director and actors arguing on a character, trying to understand it. So I was doing everything together, and it was a great experience. It was something different, something I've not experienced before. And after finishing the movie, sitting back and watching the movie and how the story was being narrated, that gave me fulfillment.
Right. And talking about directing, Ngozi, you and I understand that this is a very Herculean aspect in filmmaking. How did you get to be a director? And just when did you start operating behind the cameras and calling the shots?
Okay. Anybody that have been a script supervisor before, which we call back home in Nigeria, continuity person.
Right.
That person is the next person to the director.
I was told that some time ago.
Yes, and I've been doing that since '96. I actually worked with one Madu Chikwendo in Nigeria, and I've been behind the camera for a while, so I have an experience, and I'm close to the director, so I'm like, okay, let me try it. I might do better. And I tried it in The Brat. That was my first movie ever my first directing job.
Right.
And for those that watched it, from the sources that I think knows their onions in this industry, they watched the movie and they asked me, are you sure this is your first directing? That's
right. I have made this observation before. Many women in the film industry seem to shy away from film directing with the reason that it is more of a man's thing. Do you agree with this?
I don't think so. I don't actually think so. The directing is just like writing or acting. You can't say acting is just for men or it's just for women. It depends on where your joy goes, where you get joy from. This is a work of art, and we have a lot of people that love the work of art. It depends on your own category, on the category you fit in. So a lot of people, a lot of women, sometimes we don't want to try certain things because back home where we're from in Africa, there are things that we think are just for men and these are for women. But now in this civilized time, we know that we can do some of those things. We're just assuming it's for men. I don't think there's no law, there's no way to say directing is just for men.
Right.
You can do it, go ahead and do it.
So do you sometimes sit back and nurse the ambitions of becoming a very renowned film director, like the likes of Teko Benson's?
Yes, that's my dream. You know, everybody, whatever field that you find yourself in, you try to aim high, try to get better as time goes on. This is my last year was 2013, my first directing. I have a goal where I want to get to the level I want. I want to cross over to Hollywood, actually. So I have a goal, I have a vision inside me, and I'm working towards it, trying my best, trying to go to school, trying to read books, trying to learn from our heroes, those that have been there before now, trying to learn and to be able to, not just to direct, to give the people what is necessary, what is needed in the art industry.
And one other cap you also wear is that of a film producer. When and why did you decide to start producing your own films?
You know, like I just said, the work of art, you have to have a love for the work of art to be able to do these things. Actually, I'm not supposed to be doing everything. Because you have to share this work so it gets to people. But in my first movie, I wanted to do it because I felt I could do it. And it's not a big movie. It was a small movie I was trying to do. Though I didn't know it was going to come out the way it came out. But I wanted to do it myself and see how it feels. So when I hire people to do these things, I know what to expect from them. Because most times we hire people to work and we expect them to do more than what they are supposed to do. And in that, everybody will be frustrated. So I decided to do it because producing, I can produce, I can direct, I can write scripts, but I don't want to do everything again together at once like I did it. If I have to direct this movie, I get a producer to produce for me. If I have to hire a director to direct for me, I'll go ahead and produce.
Right.
So I just want to cut it down, but I've experienced it and I know what it takes. So I know what to expect from whoever I'm going to hire to do some of this for me.
Right. So let's do a kind of film count. How many have you produced so far, apart from The Brat?
Apart from The Brat, 2, plus The Brat is 3.
Right, 3. And under which film production house do you produce your movies?
Okay, I produce mine on Crosslink Films. Then the second one I produced with Last Man Production in conjunction with Crosslink Films. So we actually have 2 films together, Crosslink and Last Man Production.
Right. Okay, Ngozi Ibe, when we come back, we'll talk about The Brat, since it is your movie that is in the news currently. So thank you so much, and I'll join you again just right ahead.
Okay.
I'm
Simplicity, my hands clean. If you do me bad, now God go pay you. If you do me good, now God go pay you. We are now doing the high life musical ride on African Cocktail, and that one is titled Simplicity. Her name is Tilda, a remix of the legendary Prince Nico Mbarga of blessed memory. African Cocktail coming to you from Africa Radio with Ernest Kanjo at exactly 8 minutes past 1. Time for us to move to Minnesota, where our resource person who will be speaking in double capacity today is right here with us. Kenneth Ngamne, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir. Always a pleasure being on the line with you.
So, how are you this Wednesday afternoon?
Well, doing very great, listening to the good music that you're playing for me, and I'm just listening to Simplicity right now, taking me memory lane, you know?
Right. And of course, listening to Ngozi Ibe, our main guest, with whom you were on set last week in Houston. How was the experience with her?
No, it was a very good experience. I've never really worked with her. It was my very first time to work with her, and much I heard about her is what I saw on set. Very nice person, easygoing, understanding, and always ready to help and give a helping hand where she knows something is lacking.
That's great. Kenneth, you happen to be one of the nominees in the Promising Actor category of the 2004 Nollywood and African Film Critics Awards, NAFCA. When the news broke late last week, how did you feel about it, Kenneth? Given that you were just from another nomination,
You know, Mr. Ernest, I would just say that, with God, everything is good. We give God the glory for everything that He does in our lives. And I was just overwhelmed. I was extremely happy. I mean, this is my very first production, and having all these nominations, I was extremely happy about it. And watching the nomination go in and see how people are reacting to it, I'm extremely happy. And my excitement even goes also to all the other persons who were nominated, and it shows that what we do, people are watching it, and we are being known and recognized. So the most important thing about this nomination for me is not only about the fact that I was nominated, it's about the fact that the world today is seeing what we are doing, and they are appreciating it. It's not only about Kenneth, it's about all the other people who were nominated on that, and the other people, even though they were not nominated because they didn't send in their films, but we know that there are people behind who are doing a lot. So it gives us that opportunity to expose ourselves and for the world at large to know what we are up to, what we are doing, and how we are going about it. So I'm really happy about it, and hopefully, they'll keep on getting good products from us.
Now, we're talking about NAFCA because apparently it's one of the most prestigious African movie awards that is taking place in the diaspora as far as organization is concerned, because you would agree with me that this event is brilliantly organized. We followed NAFCA for the past 3 editions, and I think the guys are doing a great job. Now, Kenneth, the stakes are now high. Everyone needs that NAFCA statuette to carry home on the GD. Definitely, you are one of those. So you are a contestant. I'm opening this platform not only for you, but for others, to come on the air and tell people why they should vote for them. So if someone has to give you their vote, Kenneth, why should they be doing it?
Well, definitely. I mean, I would definitely need their vote. In as much as, like I said, I'm praying for everybody, for everybody who was nominated. I definitely will want that opportunity where somebody will give me his or her vote. And the reasons why you give me your vote is because of the nature of my movie, the acting, the people that the people that I bring in my movie to translate my movie into you. I give very good stories to people, and the nominations that the movie is having today is based on the storyline and the acting in the movie. So that gives enough reason why people should vote for me as this nomination is proceeding. Because I write very good stories, and with my recent premiere, the premiere that took place in Maryland with my movie The Storm, all this reaction is coming from that movie because that is my very first movie in the market. And for the very first movie in the market to have, such a glory, it's a wonderful thing. And definitely, we try as much as possible to make sure that we step up our acting and our writing from every given opportunity that we have. So moving from The Storm and going on to my next production, which will take place in July, titled Victimize, I obviously want to keep the audience abreast, and I always want to give them something that they will usually sit behind and think that, wow, this guy gave us something. So definitely I will need their support, I'll need their love, I'll need any strength from them to push on with this movie production stuff, and definitely I will not fail them. And as I promise you, Ernest, you know me personally, I will definitely not fail each and every one of you guys when it comes to my script writing especially, and then not to talk of my acting.
Now, if there is somebody out there listening and has been inspired by what you just said, what should they do concretely? So if they want to vote for you, what should they do?
Simple thing to do, you go online, it's on Facebook right now, you go onto the NAFCA website, and you go onto the best promising actor, you go on the link, and you vote for Ken Ngamne. That is my name there. And then you go on the best promising score, you can also vote for my movie, The Storm. And the reasons why you're voting for me and the reasons why you're voting for my movie is not only because you know me. You don't have to know me to vote for my movie and myself. You have to know the work and you have to know the product. And most of the people who are voting me today is because they know the work, they know the product, they know who Ken Charlie Monet is, they know how I write, they know what I write about, and they know how the nature of my stories are like. So that is enough reason why they should vote for me, and enough reason why they should continue to keep themselves abreast and wait for my next production, Victimize.
His name is Kenneth Ngamne. Kenneth, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me once more.
Okay, so he spoke as one of the contestants of the Promising Actor category of the 2004 NAFCA Awards. So the message has gone through. This platform is open. We have just begun a series of reports and interviews on the 2014 edition of NAFCA. So if you are nominated, if you are a nominee and you want to do your campaign on this show, you are free. So how do you get to me? Well, you can either inbox Ernest Kanjo on Facebook, or you call 614-500-1232, or better still, you call Africa Radio at 614-987-5097. You can also try ernestkanjo@yahoo.com. Send me a mail if you want to talk about your nomination on this show. It's free of charge. Okay, this is African Cocktails coming to you from Africa Radio. We're doing the last quarter of this edition of the show. Let's go back to Tilda.
I go play with you, but if you bring palava, I go run and
Timelessness and universality is what this beautiful piece titled Simplicity is characterized of. It's by Tilda. Tilda is Nigerian, and we're talking to a Nigerian as main guest in this edition of African Cocktail. Her name, Dtymi Ngozi Ibe. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, so let us talk about the Brad, which you recently premiered in Dallas, and I must say it is a very popular production. So could you just tell us more about this film?
Okay, The Brad. The Brad is my first production from Crosslink Films, which is my company. And it's a story about a sport Brad, just like a Brad, the way it's called Brad.
Right.
So this story relates to every family, what is being done. Most of the time, people think it's only rich people that spoil their kids. It's only rich kids that can be called a Brad. I don't think so. So in The Brad, I tell the story of an intelligent, spoiled girl. And the story is making waves. Oh my God, I showed it 2 times in Houston because they have requested for it again. And I'm happy that we told the story the way it is, the way it can relate to every family. So The Brad is a movie that you want to watch. It's fun, it's educating. It is very, very educating.
Right.
So in the end, it tells you the story. It's not just fun. There is somewhere that the story was going to, and thank God that we achieved that in that movie.
And so who are some of the actors featuring in this film?
Okay, I have Susan Mokedi. She's a producer, she's a filmmaker too. She's a producer, director, actress. She is a great actress. So working with her in The Brad was a great experience for me. I have Mohammed Ba. He's from Sierra Leone, a Sierra Leone actor. He is great. I have Mr. John Okafor, not the John Okafor in Nigeria, because people they're always mixing the 2 names. We have John Okafor in Houston. We have Evangeline. We have Amazing. We have a lot of talent that are based in Houston, because I mainly use the people that are based in Houston are local artists. We have Carl Penn, who's an American.
Right.
There are a lot of them that they're all great. The actors that were in the film, yeah.
Right. So you told me some time ago, off record, that you are still in the process of premiering this film. After Dallas, where next do you go to, and when will that be precisely?
Yeah, I'm intending to go to Chicago, because I have to finish my premiere before August. The movie is going to be in the market this August. So I'm intending to go to Chicago the last week of July.
Last week of July, Chicago.
Yes. I've not fixed the date yet, because I'm waiting for the promoter to give me a date.
Right. So is the movie ready for circulation?
Yes, it's ready. We're ready. We're ready to go. By August, it's going to be out.
Right. So, Ngozi, I would like to know from you, what are some of the challenges you face as an actress, a director, a producer, and how do you manage all of this?
The challenges are that the money is not coming. It's not coming like it should.
I know.
That is just all.
Finance.
I love the work of art. So when you're working or you're doing something that you love, you don't actually see most of these challenges as challenges. You enjoy the work. Even though the money is not coming yet, you still enjoy it. The Nollywood USA is suffering from that, from making what they put in production. We are still struggling to stand, which is a normal thing, because even before Nollywood in Africa, in Nigeria, before he stands to this level, they went through the same thing. There was no money in movie before. So now there is money. So that is what Nollywood USA is suffering from. But as soon as we break through, everything is going to be stabilized. When you start up a business, it's always like that.
Let me take this.
Struggling until you stand on your feet.
Now, let me just grab this golden opportunity to find out from you how you collaborate with Nollywood in Africa. These are some of the problems you are raising, and Nollywood USA is much younger than the one in Africa. Do you kind of, open up to the mother industry, explain some of these problems so that they can try to sort out solutions for you, since you are still in the growing process?
Yes, I did. I spoke to some directors, producers, marketers back home, and they told me what the problem is. Most of our people in America here, we compromise a lot because we have actors that have full-time jobs. When they come on set, they don't give us what we are looking for. And when you do this movie, you send them back home. They look at the movies and say, you guys are not serious, because they expect more from us because we are in the Western world. But in this case, it's reversed, because we have a lot of actors. Most of these actors you have back home, they don't work like the ones we have here. Most of our actors in America, they have 9-to-5 jobs. They go to work. So by the time you come back to study your script, sometimes they're not even available. So by doing this, we compromise. We manage what we have, even though they're not the best. But instead of going to get the best, we give us what we want to manage, because we're trying to work with them. So that is what the problem is. But in this now, everybody will learn. Like me, I'm not going to use somebody who is not a professional in my movie. If you cannot give me what I want and you're not available, I cannot use you, because even though I love the work of art, I'm investing my money. I want to make money out of it. So if I'm not getting the best from an actor, I don't see why I should hire you to do my job and I will not get my money back. So we are learning that we have to. I know I talk to some few producers. We talk about how to solve this problem. Even though we don't, so there are some marketers back home, if you don't have a known face, like Nollywood face in your movie, they are not going to market your movie. But if you produce a movie with unknown faces, and you have people that know what they are doing, they give you the acting that you want. That's me. Those people in Africa will rush your movie, they'll buy it with no star.
Right. Now,
they are working on now, yes.
So you're part of this big dream called Nollywood, which apparently is a very successful industry. How proud are you to be part of Nollywood?
Oh my God, I'm so happy that I'm part of Nollywood, and I'm so happy I've been there from not just the beginning, I've been there from when it was starting, like in 94, 93, 94. So I'm happy to be part of it, and I'm happy to see what Nollywood has become, because we never knew we were going to make it to this level. Because then I remember when they did I'm Living in Bondage, this new the old movies, like, now people still they go to the market and buy Living in Bondage. That is one of those new movies that came out and break into the African market that everybody wants to act movie. So I'm happy to be part of it. So for me to see Nollywood to get to this level, it means that every other African country that is coming up with any an organization of arts, I'm just believing that they are going to make it to the top. We're going to cross over, because even Hollywood, this Hollywood that we talk about, they went through the same thing Nollywood went through to get to the level they are right now. So it's always good to start something and expect, because when you're starting anything, you expect the ups and the downs, and you try not to give up if you have a goal. You should have a vision and focus on something that we can make it to the top. So I'm proud to be part of Nollywood, and I'm proud that I'm part of it.
Now, Ngozi, do you think that it is thanks to the huge volumes of Nigerian movies that get into the market that the industry is what it is today, or qualitatively you think that Nollywood deserves the kind of place it has today?
Give me that question again.
I'm trying to find out if you think that it is because Nigeria produces so many films, and pours them into the market that has given Nollywood the status. Or if we want to go by quality, you think Nollywood deserves this placing?
Okay. the question I'm going to answer it trickily, because Nollywood, they produce a lot of movies, but that's not just the point. The point is that Nollywood is telling the African story. The Africans are telling the African story. That's what matters. I have seen where American, they write a story about Africa and they put it out there. People buy it and they watch it and they ask us questions. Oh, is this Africa? Do they have houses in Africa? Do you people live in a forest? Do you live on a tree? Because there are pictures that they are giving. They are writing stories from what they get from the history. But we are the Africans, and we live there. So we know the African story. Now we are telling the African story how it should be told. That is what is pushing Nollywood to where it is. It's not because we produce a lot of movies, because we are telling our stories, just like a white man telling white man's story. They will tell it better than I would tell it.
Right.
So it's the stories that we are telling that is taking Nollywood to where they are going now.
Okay, Nollywood telling the African story. Quickly, I'll just cite a few names of some of the people you've probably had to work with here in the United States of America. They're part of Nollywood as well. So quickly, just tell us what you think about them. Okay, Kelechi Ike.
Okay, Kelechi Ike is a great filmmaker. He's somebody, he has a star. He worked on his star. He believed in African culture, and most of his story got to do with African, which is a good style. When you come into an industry, you pick a star, a pattern you want to work on. So his pattern is to concentrate on African. So African, just African story, everything purely African. And I love that. I love him for that. He is a great filmmaker.
Okay, he's a writer. He has been on the field for a couple of weeks now. His name is Don Okolo.
Oh my God, Don Okolo is a legend. He's a living legend. It's just very unfortunate that a lot of people don't know who Don Okolo is. And I was privileged to be one of those that know him. And he's a personal friend too. I can call him and talk to him. He's a great man. His pattern of writing is awesome. Is different. You know, he's somebody you want to learn from. So Don Okolo is just an extraordinary filmmaker and artist.
Right.
I cannot just describe him.
Okay, she has ink in her blood. She's a fine writer. Her name is Nkem Denchukwu.
Oh, Nkem Denchukwu is a writer, producer. She is a great woman. She is one of these African great women that you'll be proud of. These are the kind of women that can come out in the public to represent Africa, and you'll be proud that you have somebody that will represent Africa good. She is one person that anybody will want to work with. She is good in what she does.
Okay, I met him on a film location in Maryland a couple of months ago, and he happens to be a big brain as far as film directing is concerned. Ikechukwu Onyeka.
Oh my God, Ikechukwu Onyeka, I don't know how to describe him. I worked with him in 2012. Oh my God, he's an awesome director. He will bring the best out of you. He's somebody that will interpret the script, and you'll be looking at the script like you're seeing it in film. So he's a very good director / interpreter of story.
I see you a lot with Cameroonians. What is your working relationship with these people?
Oh, I don't really know, because I can work with anybody. It don't matter where you're from. It's just that these are the people that are working with me at a particular time.
Right.
Cameroonians are great people to work with. They are fun to be with. They are open-minded. So my experience with them is great. I love to work with them. Cameroonians, Sierra Leoneans, I've worked with Sierra Leoneans and Cameroonians, and I love to work with them.
Okay, Ngozi, I'll come back to you, and when we do, we will be rounding off this edition of African Cocktail. Just take a respite, then I'll be back. Vanité, toute vanité, all is vanity, and that is the message in that beautiful one titled Music Line. It's remixed by Tilda, a beautiful one there, reminding us of the legendary Prince de Kombarga. Time for us to vote thanks to the people who have made this edition of African Cocktail a great success. I'm thinking of you, Ken, Charlie, Monet, Ngamne. Thank you so much for being part of this show. He spoke to us from Los Angeles. His name is Victor VU, the legendary director, producer of the most renowned Nina's Diary. Victor had the news of his nomination at the 2014 NAFCA broken to him in this edition of African Cocktail. To you, Victor, we want to say chapeau. Then in less than 72 hours, she will hit the stage in Maryland. Her name is Kanjo, gospel artist, Cincinnati based. She was one of our main guests, guests at large in this edition of African Cocktail. To you, Pandita, we want to say have a brilliant Wednesday afternoon out there. And of course, we wish you all the best come Friday. What a privilege we had to break the news of South Africa's re-elected Jacob Zuma in this edition of African Cocktail. It was a pleasant one we had from Solomon Atta, our South Connect correspondent from Cape Town. Thank you so much, Solomon, for that scoop, sir. It was a fantastic one. Okay, to you, Titus Banyo, thank you so much. That was a fantastic one from Antwerp, the city of diamond. You reported from Belgium, and we hope to have you again in next week's edition of African Cocktail. Matt Atungong, I want to say my regards and quick recovery. I love you all out there, especially my fans in the DRC, my fans in Cameroon, and of course those in Nigeria. African Cocktail coming to you from Africa Radio with Ernest Kanjo. Let's move back to Houston and round off our conversation with our main guest, Ngozi Ibe. Once again, you're welcome to African Cocktail for this last phase of our conversation.
Thank you very much.
Okay, let's have this quickly from you. Apparently, God has blessed you so much, and you are a successful young Nigerian making great strides in what you've chosen to do. So how do you think you are going to pay back to your community, your country?
Okay. Actually, like I said before in the earlier stage, that I grew up in Nigeria, in Lagos, and in Ghana. And in Ghana, I actually have this foundation for kids. I love kids a lot. So I had it from when I was in, I think that was in 2001.
Right.
And I still have it till now. So in that, those are just kids that are less privileged. So I have a foundation. But for those that are intending to or having the dream to be actors and filmmakers. I just want to tell them to believe in what they believe and stand firm, because sometimes you get distracted, but you should have a goal and be focused on that goal, and you will get there one day.
Now, Ngozi, when you are not on a film set performing the art you know best, or when you are not on a film location behind the cameras and calling the shots, or when you are not in the studio singing, what else are you doing? Your hobbies?
I love to drive. I go driving.
She goes driving.
Having competition. I go driving. I love dancing too. I love dancing, but I love to drive. You know, like there's this, I don't know if they have it in other states. They have it in Houston, where you go driving competition.
Right.
I love it. I love to drive and ride. I love to dance. Actually, I like to write.
Right.
Because in my spare time, I just get this thing and I have to just write something down. There's always something coming to write.
Right. I know, despite the fact that time in this country is so precious, so expensive, you still have some of it to do some cooking. And when your pot is on fire, what is it inside?
Oh my God, I love insala soup. I don't know if you know what is insala.
I'm just learning about that today. How does it
I
taste
love
like?
insala soup. I cook a lot. I don't eat out. That's just one thing.
Right.
I don't eat out, so I'm always having food at home.
Right.
So I cook a lot, but I love insala soup. I eat every soup though, every African dish, but I love insala soup so much.
And so, who do you look up to as your role model?
Oh, okay. I have a lot of them. I don't know how many of them I can mention right now. Oh my God.
Let's have like 2 or 3.
The late some local that died. The late some local that died is somebody that, I mean, in the art world.
Right.
Is my role model. I have Donokolo.
Okay.
If I can write 1/10 of how his style of writing, I'll be satisfied.
Right.
So I have Donokolo, I have Sam Loco, and Michelle Obama.
Right, Michelle Obama. Okay, so I must confess that it's been pleasant listening to you, and there's some little aspiring girl out there, probably in some parts of Ibadan, some parts of Lagos, some parts of Abuja, or even Yaoundé, Cameroon, who has listened to this show and has been inspired. She would definitely want to become an actress, a director, a singer like you. What advice are you going to give that little girl listening to you at this moment?
Okay, I want to tell you listening out there that you can do it. You can be the next Michelle Obama. You can be the next president. So you have the ability to do it. Do not give up that dream you have inside of you.
Do not give up that dream you have inside of you. You can be the next Obama. You can be the next Michelle Obama. Beautiful and very strong message there from Ngozi Ibe. Ngozi, thank you so much. It was wonderful having you on the show.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I am very humbled.
Okay, that is how we put a full stop to this edition of African Cocktail that came to you from Africa Radio this day, May the 21st, 2014. It was a big and dynamic team as usual that kept you company this afternoon. African Kitchen Manager Susan A.A., Belgium correspondent Titus Banyo, Germany correspondent Marcel Ajik, South Connect correspondent Solomon Atta, who broke the news of the re-election of Jacob Zuma as president of the Republic of South Africa. Resource person number 1, Kenneth Ngamne. Resource person number 2, Suleiman Koyate. Resource person number 3, Matthew Eyong. Content critic, The White Bokori. Production collaborator, Crystal Beauty of The Crystal Beauty Show. African Cocktail online promo banner, Bob Boateng. Guest at large, Victor VU, Ken Shali Monet, Pandita Njoeta. Main guest, Dtymi Ngozi Ibe. Collaboration, Big Joe and Bratty Coffee, Big Bo, Awal Mohammed, DJ Cash, Damilola Jare, Mayo Makinde, Saran, KK. Coordination, Nana Ampem, and of course, Charles Bafour. My name is Ernest, Kanjo, regular host of African Cocktail, asking you to join us again next week for yet another vibrant edition of the show. And until we meet next Wednesday, It is bye-bye, ciao, au revoir, merci, I'm gone. See you then. To God be the glory.